Chelsea a goal up against Leicester City at the break. Rachel Coursey, Meg Finnegan here. And Rach, that first goal, we've seen Chelsea do it time and time again. They punish you if you're not in set right defensively.
Yeah, you're right. And this really is where I think Aggie Beever-Jones, who gets the goal in the end, deserves huge credit. 4 bodies around her, off the throw, and gets the ball under control, manages to find a teammate. And, you know, the goal in the end is a little bit fortuitous. A little bit of trickery from Erin Cuthbert, a little back heel. Needs a ricochet, I think, to fall into Aggie Beever-Jones's path. But that said, you've got an informed striker. These are opportunities that she will absolutely relish, and she'll certainly put them away.
For me, just from a Leicester perspective on the goal, I think they've got so many bodies in and around the ball without actually affecting it, and I think from their perspective they'll be a bit disappointed.
What about this then? This is Millie Bright. I think it's this angle coming up. Potentially more than she gets for this?
Yeah, it's really nasty, and she just ends up in that situation because it's a coming together and her touch just almost runs away from her. And for me, it's sort of situation, if we have VAR in the game, I think that gets looked at, because where the contact is nasty. And
this from Van Egmond?
This is bad, I think. When you see it here, studs up, she's not in control. You know, potential leg breaker, you know, if we're being honest. And again, if we had VAR, I think that would be looked at.
Which I want to say, I'm not advocating for VAR.
I was going to say, is this... I know that's a bit different.
You know, I think in both of those moments, you're sort of, at the time, you're thinking this competitive game. Yeah. Challenges do come, but I think in both examples, there's a lot of force, and where there's contact is nasty.
Rick Passmore and his team from Leicester City then return home without the points, but plenty to build on for their games during the week and next weekend. For Sonia Bonpastor, Chelsea, defending champions, those 3 points take them to the top of the WSL table. And just one more match to come this weekend. We'll have a little look at the results from the third weekend in the WSL. Of course, started with us on Friday night. It's a result for Chelsea that joins wins elsewhere for Brighton today. We'll bring you reflections on their 4-1 win over West Ham in just a bit too. But confirmation of those results then, as the scene at Kings Meadow shows 3 points for Chelsea, 1-0 over Leicester City. That big win for Brighton over West Ham on Friday night. First win in the WSL for London City, and a 5-1 win for Manchester City at Spurs. Manchester United take on Arsenal. That's a 2:50 kick-off to round off the weekend. So Chelsea for the moment to the top of the table, but second v third to come today as well. And Leicester, no points, but plenty to take into next weekend. That's the WSL done, but one more huge cup competition on the way. Yeah, first clean sheet of the season for Chelsea and a narrow win over Leicester City. Let's hear from player of the match, Keira Walsh with Harriet.
Keira, congratulations. It looked like a very hard-fought game. Yeah. What was it like to be involved in?
Yeah, it was a difficult game. You know, I think Leicester made it very tough for us. I think if we're honest, we would have liked to have had more control in the game. I think probably in large parts of the games we weren't in control, and I think that's what we want to do this season. But yeah, credit to Leicester. I think they made it very difficult for us today.
Well, sometimes it's about just getting the 3 points and getting the result. Did you expect Leicester to come out maybe as aggressively as they did with their press and their style of play?
Yeah, I think obviously if you look at previous years, they normally have sat in a little bit lower and kind of soaked up pressure, but no, like today they came out, they came to play, and as I said, they made it very, very difficult for us. And yeah, I think for us it's just going back to the drawing board, maybe looking at where we could have found the spaces a little bit better, and I think their keeper made some incredible saves in the first half, but yeah, second half would have liked to have made some more chances as well.
A player that doesn't need to go back to the drawing board is Aggie Beever-Jones. She's scored in yet another WSL game this season. What impact is she having on the team, and how nice is it when you have a player like that that's so clinical?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of pressure off everyone else. I think we know that, you know, when she's in front of goal, she always scores, and yeah, it's incredible stats. And I think for such a young player to be so composed in front of goal, I think, yeah, not many players have that from such a young age. And yeah, she's just a great character to have in the squad. I think, you know, even when, you know, we're away from the pitch, she's an incredible person, and yeah, we're lucky to have her.
And Sam Kerr, you can hear the lift that gives the fans. Has it had a similar lift for you guys in the team?
Spider on you, sorry. No, you have. I'll get it off. There you go.
I'll deal with the spider.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you ask a question again? I was just...
You were saving me from the spider. I was just saying Sam Kerr's had such a lift for the fans. Is it the same behind the scenes as well?
Yeah, she's a massive, massive character, and I think you only have to look at what she's done in the women's game and what she's done for this team. I think you can kind of feel, that the lift she brings, even just being in and around the change room and in the gym. We're very, very lucky that she's back, and I think obviously now to have two world-class strikers. We normally had three, but obviously Myra's injured, so to have two, and those two, they're both incredible goal scorers. So as I said, it takes the pressure off the rest of us, and we're looking to hit the ground running again in the next game.
And finally, a difficult day for all in the women's football community. I'm sure some of your teammates knew Matt personally as well. Did that have an impact in the run-up to the game?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's incredibly sad news, and obviously thoughts go out to his family, and he had such an impact on the women's game, and he fought so hard for women's football. I didn't know him personally, but I trained a few times at Liverpool when I was younger, and he was always so passionate about the women's game. So it's a really, really tough loss today.
Keira, thank you. Well said. You are player of the match, so congratulations. You can take your trophy now.
Thank you.
Keira Walsh remembering Matt Beard, who of course managed Chelsea to their first FA Cup final. Keira, player of the match again today, something was going to be familiar with for the rest of the season, you feel, with Keira Walsh. Rachel Corsie, Meg Finnegan here. And Meg, seeing that result from Chelsea, it's kind of about getting the job done, isn't it? Because Leicester put up a good fight.
Yeah, I think what you've seen from Chelsea today, it's not unfamiliar. At times they don't come out of first gear, and I think today you've seen they weren't at the best. I think what Keira just touched on, they didn't have the control over the game that they would have liked, and that is credit to Leicester. And I think despite the result, Leicester will take huge positives from this game, because they conceded really early on, first 5 minutes, but they were in it till the last minute, and they had some really good spells against Chelsea. Yeah,
restricted them to just 3 attempts in the second half.
They were really disciplined, and not just in terms of that defensively, there was also with the ball as well. There was moments where they used that to control the game and actually have opportunities for themselves and build into the Chelsea half. I think, attempts-wise, they almost matched Chelsea. I think just Chelsea probably sneaked it by 1 or 2, but that's difficult to do away from home. From a Chelsea perspective, as Meg said, Chelsea are very good at this. The 1-0s or the narrow margins, they just find a way, and they get that goal, and they're just comfortable because they do have that sort of self-belief that they'll have a way to manage through the game. I think Sonia Bonpastor will probably scrutinise the performance quite a lot. I think they might have a few tough days in the meeting rooms going over some of the clips, but only because they have that really high bar where our expectation is they will create more opportunities. And this was the goal that they did get, and when they score in the first few minutes, you sort of expect, could this end up being 5 or 6? Aggie Beever-Jones there does exceptionally well. Tight area, Leicester should do better, got to win that there. Little bit of a crowded area, Erin Cuthbert with a little back heel, and can't leave Aggie Beever-Jones 6 yards out from goal, sort of unguarded. Just a little back heel again from Erin Cuthbert. Bourrier just, unfortunately, kind of just sneaks between her legs, can't quite punch it away with the side of her foot, and I mean, it's a clinical finish. It's what we expect from somebody like Aggie Beever-Jones.
We said that 9 in 11 for club and country for Aggie Beever-Jones. She's not fazed at all by the looming figures on the bench of Sam Kerr, having Kat Macario alongside her too.
No, she doesn't seem to be. When I played with her at Everton, she was still very young and she was really raw, and she was still developing. But since she's returned to Chelsea, like you say, nothing seems to faze her. And I know she was a bit fortunate with the goal, but she often finds herself in these positions, and she just has a knack of being in those positions, and then when she gets there, she's scoring goals. And look, the big boots to fill with Sam Kerr out, Ramirez out when she's injured, and she's been leading the line, for the last year or so at times, and she's doing it exceptionally well.
Well, we can ask her to score goals. She scored in all 3 games this season. Leipzig in the Leicester City goal, I mean, the number of saves that she pulls off again today.
Yeah, she made some incredible saves, and I think you've seen it from her. You see the amount of saves that she has to make. She expects to have to make those saves, but I mean, that there is unbelievable save, and she has to do that for Leicester a lot, but I do think she's a very good shot stopper.
All right, 7 from Leipzig today. Saves for Leicester. City just couldn't find a way through up the other end. In a moment, though, we'll get reflections from both managers after the win for Chelsea. 3 games, 3 wins for Chelsea, who head 3 points clear at the top of the WSL table. Let's hear from boss Sonia Bonpastor after their 1-0 win over Leicester City. She's been chatting to Harriet.
Well, Sonia, congratulations on the win today. Let's start with the first half. Leicester came out aggressively, pressing high. What did you make of the response from your side?
Yeah, again, so we had a strong start. We were able to score, and I think that's really important to be able to do that. Overall performance, I think, yeah, we have room for improvement for sure in this game. That's probably normal. We are earlier in the season, and yeah, I've been changing systems. I've been trying things around, and yeah, maybe the team is missing a little bit of connection, and I think maybe on the game today you could have seen that. So yeah, I'm not worried. Again, in football the most important thing is to win, but we need to improve as a team. We all know that, so yeah, we will work hard to make sure we are in a better place.
You said they're changing systems and trialling things. What exactly is it you're looking for when you're making these changes?
Again, I think depending on how we want to play, I think we have different options, playing back 4, back 3. We can play also in a different way in midfield. But for me, the main thinking is around the spaces on the pitch. And I think, yeah, we need to all, the staff and the players, understand where are the spaces and how we can use them better. Again, in the performance today, I think the goalkeeper from Leicester had a really good performance. She made some great saves, so we couldn't score more than 1. And when you only are winning 1-0, you always give hope to the opposition, which is more difficult. But again, we managed to win the game, and that's also important.
A couple of half-time changes, bringing on Alyssa, Thompson and Hamano. What was the thinking behind those?
Again, I think I was trying to analyze what the game was asking us to do. I felt maybe, again, from last week and this weekend, we needed to have more speed, in the game. So yeah, Alyssa is a good strength in that aspect. Again, she was playing on the left side. I know she likes better to play on the right side, but she's comfortable playing on the left, and I think she can bring a big impact in that side too.
A word on Aggie Beever-Jones getting another goal, 3 games now in the WSL to start the season where she's scored. What's clicking so well for her this year?
I think the confidence is the crucial fact for Aggie. She has a lot of quality. I'm not surprised. I already said that from last season. I was just surprised because last season she didn't have any award, individual award, where she had a great season last season. So yes, she's starting strong this season again, and as an individual player, she has a lot of quality. As I mentioned, she works hard without the ball, but also in possession of the ball. She's able to hold the ball under pressure, but also to make some great runs in behind the back line. So I think for that reason, she's a complete player, and she's also confident to score. So that's a good thing for us as a team.
And finally, we've just spoken to Keira Walsh, and she's spoken about improvement. You've just spoken to me about areas for improvement, but you still come away with the win today. So does that speak to the mentality of your side? You're always pushing for more.
Yeah, always, and that's a good point in this team, in this club. We are all on the same page. At the end of the game, I just told my players, in terms of performance, we have room for improvement, but I knew they knew already. So at the end, we won the game, which is really important, but we still feel maybe in terms of performance, we have room for improvement, and we need to have higher standards. So that's good, and I'm sure from Tuesday, we'll work hard again, and we'll start a week to make sure we improve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Sonia Bonpastor. You can hear Rick Passmore, the Leicester City manager's thoughts across Sky Sports Digital. And I remind you can see highlights from all the games this weekend. Friday night's games are already up on Sky Sports WSL YouTube. These games already today will be up shortly. No surprises that she's not entirely happy?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a very honest interview, I think, and probably what you'd expect. As she's touched on, only three games in. They obviously played the first game at Stamford Bridge, just at Kings Meadow. There's a lot of variables, and she's right. The most important thing is when you're Chelsea, you find a way to win the games. They've done that. They've had 3, I think, different tests, and I think that's what Chelsea have been the most consistent at, is being able to put themselves in different situations, have different problems, and find ways to solve it. And that they are going to improve, and everyone else is going to have to keep doing their best to improve by an even bigger margin if they want to try and catch them.
Very quick word, Meg. Brighton won 4-1 today. You've got Brighton next weekend for Everton's. Your hopes for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think for us, we're a fairly new team in terms of the amount of new signings we've brought in. Would have liked more points on the board first 3 games, but optimistic we can get something next week.
All right, thank you for your company today, Meg. It has been, of course, a tough day across the WSL. On days like this, sometimes we say football doesn't matter, but of course when it came to Matt Beard, it did. Football in his DNA, and as we've seen today, the DNA of Matt Beard will live throughout football, from the stands to the pitch to the dugouts. Women's football is Matt Beard for now and for the future as well. What he gave to the game in this country and beyond. For that, we simply say thank you, Beardy.